is going to go on the mantle. All right, so up next, we have our featured poet, Jason Adam Sheets.
I get to read.
He's going to read whatever he wants, frankly, from his books or whatever else he wants to do. So, Jason, the floor is yours.
Everybody get Jason Adam Sheets for one.
I hate standing up to read, so I'm going to sit down. I'm just going to read an essay, actually. Actually, no, I'm not. I had to track my nervousness. So, I would usually read poetry, but you buy the books if you want poetry. I'm an awful marketer in the book. But I'm going to read an essay that I was talking about earlier. For me, it was powerful to write and then also to get it published in a magazine before this book. But it was about my experience and how poetry helped me through homelessness. The one thing I couldn't put in this essay was the meth stuff because it was published by Harvard magazine. And the editors, one, they wouldn't have published it, and two, there's certain things in the writing world where if you publish certain information in one spot, then that automatically makes it to where you can't get a memoir for it, right? So there's certain stuff that isn't in this essay that I had to just speak to them. So I just spoke to the money aspect of things, and being that kind of place. But anyway, I cannot remember the exact moment I became homeless. There was not one definitive event that led to my having to sleep beside train tracks or on bathroom floors, and there wasn't. There was though. I was simply too broke for too long and unable to secure decent enough employment that could afford me stable housing. And up in Boston, I was struggling with this really bad before even addiction. Like this stuff led to addiction. You know what I mean? Because when you're walking around the city all night and you have nowhere to, trust me, there's nowhere to sleep. Like people think you can just sleep. No. So you literally have to walk all night to try to find a place. And how do you stay awake? That's where drugs come in. And a lot of people don't know that. So. Not always, but you literally have nowhere to go until you get to know the community anyway. Years ago, I saw Reagan for the first time. I was in Vermont attending my inaugural residency as a college undergrad in a low residency PFA program in creative writing. 4 years before I received a full scholarship to study poetry and art. We poets are drawn to crows and ravens, something about the magic in their mystery, so I'd always hoped to encounter one. It was fitting that my first encounter occurred when I committed to pursue my calling. Hearing that deep musical caw evoked something within me, something about Emerson's long winding train reaching back into eternity, coupled with the difficulty of having both roots and wings. All of us walk in a ground of many worlds, and we live in a world of many dualities. As a poet, I have each foot planted in a different world, perpetually tasked with distilling the effable from the ineffable without weakening the energy of the encounter. All poetry is this encounter. In both of these worlds, though, I'm a homeless Harvard alum, a paradox almost. Sleeping on gravel is insufferable, but I can tell you how to make a comfortable makeshift bed on it out of practically nothing. Building a fire in the rain by the beach is insufferable, but I can tell you how to build a fire that will create just enough smoke to deter the horseflies from biting you while not drawing the attention of patrol officers. Guarding one's belongings while homeless is insufferable, but I can tell you how to talk to the agitated drug addicts or untreated cluster B personalities who fell through the cracks, who won't leave you alone because of something you have to take on. And there's always something that you'll have to take on. As addiction and mental health, I'm going to turn that bit. A person's capacity for experiencing suffering is the same as a person's capacity for experiencing joy. If you can experience joy this much, you can experience this much suffering. It's a spectrum. Right? So the more joy you've experienced, the more suffering. It has to balance out. There's a duality in all that. Right? As a poet, I find joy in words and symbols. And being homeless has gifted me with an abundance of both. Which I keep in the front pocket of my life. I'm grateful for words such as homeless, displaced, and misfortune. I think these words, for each of them, we find not only linguistic duality, but the poetic duality, the poison and remedy of interpretation. In homeless, we find the word home, right? In displaced, we find the word place. And in our misfortune, we can find the word fortune. It's all how you really should, right? If it weren't for poetry, I know that the experience of homelessness would have long since rusted my psychological gears to a locked state. On April 30th, 2024, it's very recent, I stood outside the gates of Harvard Yard in front of the Smith Campus Center, waiting for a man from the City of Cambridge Department of Human Services to arrive and hand me a verification of homelessness through the window of his white work van. He pulled up to the corner of Dunster and handed me the document. I thanked him, then carefully placed a piece of paper into my backpack, the same backpack I wore each day from 2019 to 2021 while at Harvard. 2 years ago, I walked across the stage at the graduation exercise for the classes of 20 and 2021 and shook the hand of the dean of my school as he handed me a large white envelope that symbolized the master's degree I just earned. The envelope was empty. We'd received our degrees in the mail a year earlier due to COVID-19 lockdown. So, you walk on stage and then they hand you, and your envelope's empty, but it's simple. Such an empty symbol. When I returned to my friend's place in Harvard Square, I pulled the verification of homelessness from my bag, feeling utterly unsure about how I felt about it. You needed one of those to get on housing list. After uploading the photo of it to the places I need to submit it, I pondered what to do with it, and for a moment thought of that large white envelope. There are many myths and stereotypes about being a Harvard grad, but the one I attempt to reckon with most is the one that presumes that no matter who you are and where you come from, if you hold a degree from there, you are free from having to worry about things such as job security, money, available credit, etc. as a whole. This is wishful thinking, especially if you were raised in a check-to-check single-parent household and entered college as an adult, first-generation low-income student. The thing about matriculating in a place like this, as a working-class person, living check-to-check, is that you'll still likely be a working-class person living check-to-check when you leave, at least for a time, and typically for a longer time than most in your cohort. And like many post-COVID graduates, I spent the past 2 years, and this is where it got really hard with not getting work and being able to barely survive, and then pride. I didn't want to tell anybody what I was going through, you know what I mean? So that's why I had to write it, because I would have been homeless if I told some people, you know what I mean? But just it's pride, and especially coming off from a place like that, you don't ever want people to know that. But it is what it is. So anyway, it's a double-edged sword. I spent the past two years, I don't know if this is 1 year, submitting countless application portfolios and talent acquisition schemes for positions in my field that I feel I'm well qualified to interview for. Research assistantships, instructorships in expository writing, publishing and editing positions, faculty assistantships, etc. But I've yet to receive more than one invitation to interview, and my stuff is good. I'd like to, you know what I mean? It wasn't when you're a white guy, it's harder now too, and especially, it's people don't know what to do with these. It's important to note too that minimum wage employers won't often hire in that situation because they know you're overqualified for their position. I couldn't give a shit job anywhere. And that will likely quit the moment you land a job you want, and they're right. You can't go to Starbucks and be like, dude, and they're like, you went to Harvard, no, you're going to quit the minute you get a job. And absolutely I will. So you won't get hired at those jobs. But then if you leave that off your thing, what's the gap in your employment, So, oh yeah, anyway, if you get that all together, it's presumed you're a dude. Either way, you're perceived as risk and become stuck in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. I'm almost done. At the moment, I teach poetry via Zoom to a number of Title I high school students across the country. Title I is a federal program that provides extra funding to help students in high poverty schools. This pays roughly $1,000 a month, so I receive roughly $4,000 a semester for this. I jump at the chance to work full-time in a position such as this, but the hours simply aren't there. I'm going to skip forward because this just feels like, wow. Oh well, speaking to how hard it is working in the field as a poet, I've authored 3 books, published countless pieces in reputable and noteworthy journals and magazines. I'm giving guest lectures at community colleges and at Harvard. And the narrative of my situation is that I currently survive on my 23rd year, which is like whatever. But many homeless people live on much less than that, and most know the importance of having gratitude for any something they do have. I could live on $300 a month now, and be fine. Seriously, I do not care about money, so it's funny how that works, because then you get work and you make more. And the more you don't care about money and worldly things, you just don't get it. I can give a shit about any of that now, it's nice to have it, but when you don't have those things, and then you have them again, you're just like, okay, but there's no fear of losing it because it's just still there, it's still you, right? Those things don't make sense. I recently had a conversation with a homeless Russian man, a conversation that inspired a poem for my next book, I'll never forget how he reminded me to always look at the shiny side of the coin. Because when we find a coin in the ground, it has a shiny side and its dull side, the side that's always looking down at the ground. They can still think this conversation. There's a geometry of gratitude in the poetics of homelessness. There's a geometry of gratitude in the poetics of homelessness. The best people, the angels, the most angelic people I've ever met, were bad ladies. I can still tell you one named Danielle that would tell me to stay one night, when she had much less than I did, you know, and it's just wild. And then the most demonic people I have there too. So it's you know, it's wild. But you'll never meet angels like you do on the street. And the ones that ask for money, they're not that. It's the ones that are quiet, that don't ask for anything. You know, and that's where it's like, wow, you know, you get to know these people, and it's wild. Anyway, I found a lot of plain sense. The last time I saw Raven, I was teaching a class via Zoom on the formal structure of sonnets. It was an orange vanilla sky morning with a pinch of salt water in the air. I was taking my students for a walk, and obviously they didn't know because I was homeless. I was taking my students for a walk down the train tracks, performatively sharing how the train tracks serve as a metaphor for the 14-line limit of the sonnet, and how the train symbolized the words of the poem while the tracks symbolized the structure. Expounding how, just as the train would derail if the tracks became warped, the emotional impact of the poem would derail if the structure became warped. We talked about how the ticket to attend the sonnet is the attention we pay to it, how we must pay the poem our attention if we're to experience it the way the energy of its structure intends. I concluded the lecture feeling that it had gone well, and as I bent down to put my laptop back in my backpack, I heard a rich, sonorous call. The Raven was perched on the eve of a large abandoned warehouse a stone's throw away. We locked eyes for a moment before it swooped down and somersaulted midair, moving away from me. The slant of its movement recalled for me the slant one uses when quoting lines of poetry. A moment's monument, memorial from the soul's eternity. Its face reveals the soul. At that moment, I was home with nothing less than what I needed. So that it feels weird to read it now, though, because it feels like a corny thing, and you never want it to feel corny. Like, don't you have to feel bad for somebody that's not? Are you kidding me? You know, so it's hard to like read that and not come across just to read that. You know, I hope that is genuine. I guess that's it for that. I'm sick of hearing myself talk.
One more time around the house for this. I think that is the National Poetry Party for this month. Next month, July 30th, I'm pretty sure, the last Thursday of the month. July 31st. Yes. 31st? 31st? The last Thursday of July, whatever the hell that is. Somebody like that.
31st. It's
31st.
on my calendar.
Okay, all right. Thank you. We're going to have Nicole Brown, who's going to be coming from North Carolina. She's going to be our first like serious out-of-towner. We're actually paying her money to come in from out of town because we figured we're putting her up someplace, and we need y'all to all be here to give her a good audience. So please be here for that. Another round of applause for Burning April, please, everybody.
Thank you.
When the party is over here, when it's truly concluded in the next minute or two, we don't have to leave. We can hang out a little bit, have some kava. Thank you to Colding and the Passage Kava Lounge. And another round of applause to our terror alley. Calls yourself ADHD alley on the internet. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm supposed to call it or what. Big round of applause. They're going to play a few more songs before the night is over. But to the Eric Tones, please, everybody. And Streetworks, of course. Thank you very much to Streetworks for being here. I think that they had to party, but that was pretty cool. And last but not least, if you want some coffee, it's free back there from Forevermore Coffee. And that will do it for the party. It's up to the fact that you need to buy some books. All right, last but not least. All right, a lot to talk about. We've got all three of Jason's books here that are all, is this all, do you have 3 books? These are 3 all with April Building Press? All with April Building Press. Last but not least, thank you to April Building Press for being here. Yet again, they're big supporters of the National Poetry Party. And I think that'll do us. Good night. We love you.
We got one more for you guys, and I think it's funny The song I chose actually
This is,
called Their Phone,
October.
so I hope you guys enjoy it. When I had a little, I thought that I needed a lot. A little was overrated. I was complicated. Zero didn't satisfy me. Really didn't make me happy. That's when I learned the lesson. That is how about your perception. Hey, are you a popper or a superstar? So you act what you feel, so you are. It ain't about the size of. In the back country of Brazil, I met a young brother that made me feel I could accomplish anything. He just wanted to see no windows and no doors. Lived a simple life, was a tree.
Very